Hello, all. I guess I'm live. I'm live on YouTube. I'm not going to be watching myself, so I'm going to just turn that computer off. For the best. I won't be watching myself. So, all right. You know, I need to do these things from time to time to keep myself motivated and keep myself editing. And it's always good to train, way of training. Adrian and I were talking about this yesterday about, or this morning about organizing our bookmarks and things like that. And I thought, well, you know, I should do some more editing. I really enjoy it. Last night I stayed up till 2 in the morning. I started about 9 o'clock, and I rewrote the Wikipedia page for Tasmanian Zoo, which I started in 2015. And I really enjoyed that page, but I worked on it, and I should have done a live video with it last night, but I didn't because I don't know, I wasn't thinking. But I'm going to do one now. So going to be a lot of screen sharing, and I have no idea how long this is going to take. So what I will do is I will pause if I find that I am spending too much time staring at a screen and you don't want to stare at a screen with me. All right. Finding things. Hope you guys are having a good day. I got 3 screens here open. So let's pick a screen. Pick a screen, any screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to do, this is the Rhododendron Species Foundation and Botanical Garden Wikipedia page. I went to go see Sterling up in Federal Way a couple weeks ago, and as I was there, and you know, most things are closed down, I searched for things to do. And this was maybe 15 minutes away from my hotel. So I stopped over here, and I had a very nice time walking around. Of course, you're with your mask on, so it didn't make it much fun, because when I went into the arboretum, which is like humid, and then you got your mask on and you got glasses on, I couldn't see a damn thing. But it was not very crowded, and it was a nice walk, and the weather was perfect and gray. Now, I don't know a lot about gardening. I know even less about rhododendrons. I can barely spell the thing. I can barely say it. But part of the GSoW project is to work on pages of science, scientific skepticism, people of science, and claims of the paranormal. And this falls right in under science. You never know what people are going to find and be inspired from. And I think everything really needs a nice Wikipedia page that's something, especially from the world of science. And rhododendrons are biology and what's the word? I've lost the word now. And you're all thinking it. I can't think of the word. Anyway, it is science, all right? So if you want to see behind the scenes of what a Wikipedia editor goes through, this is what you're going to see. I have started doing some investigation to see if I could rewrite this Wikipedia page, and I think I can do some with it. Now here's what it used to look like. So I'm going to go to View History, which is this tab up here in the corner. And this is the Wikipedia page before I got involved. So you can see how it says in this beige little box up here that it is not, you know, it's a preview. I mean, it's an old page. So it's got a whole bunch of words here. It has see also. The references are non-existent. That's not really much of a reference. There's an external link going back to the garden. And these are stubs, and it's a nice feeling when you get rid of the stub at the bottom. And I will do that absolutely last. There's no info box here, and it's just like a giant wall of, well, not giant, a little wall of text. So I was looking around at some of the peers of botanical gardens Wikipedia pages, and I didn't find a lot of Wikipedia pages that were in much better shape than this, some way worse. Now I had uploaded some really beautiful photos that I'd taken at the event. I mean, at the garden. And I mean, I didn't upload all these, but here's what I took. And when I take photographs of, in this case, of things I'm going to upload to Wikimedia, I usually take pictures of the objects. Let's see if we can find something here that makes some sense. And like here in this case, I usually start off by taking pictures of the, you know, the flower. Oops. Let's move it so it can be seen. Here's the flower with some of the bud. You want to get some of the leaves in there if you can. Here's another view. And here's a bud. And again, you can see the leaves in the back, the foliage. Here's another one. And then when I've done that, I usually also like to try to take a picture of the entire tree, the entire bush or whatever it is, you know, in a large. And then the last picture I take is always of what it is. That way it's easier for me to you know, upload it, because I don't know what these things are. Let's see. Here's another one with a blooming. And that's how I usually go about doing that. So I uploaded a ton of photographs. As you can see, there's quite a few I took, but it's a really beautiful place. I mean, look at this. Look at this place. Isn't that incredible? Just incredible. Incredible place. So I'd like to try to make the Wikipedia page a little more attractive. So I went in and I did change a few things. I made a history section, and what that did is it kind of put it in a little paragraph underneath, and it gave me this category area over here. So here's what it used to look like. You can take a look again. Right, so it's just a bunch of words here. And I added a history section, and when I did that, I gave it a lead right here at the top. Now, I don't know if any of this is true. There's no citations for anything, so I don't know. Here we are. All right, another thing I wanted to do is get rid of this photo here, and that is not the best representation of this botanical garden. I'd taken a whole bunch of photographs, and they should go down here in a gallery. And then I took a picture. I went to a lot of trouble. Trust me, I went to a lot of trouble. Hold on. I can't type for some reason whenever I can't spell when I'm trying to talk. I went to a lot of trouble to take a beautiful picture of the entrance, so that I could find something that would represent the place. So here we go. I uploaded these, and the photo I want to use for the entrance is down here. Wow, I uploaded a lot of photos, didn't I? And of course I don't see it. Why don't I see it? It's on the dash. Do you see it? Because I don't see it. How strange. I wouldn't upload the one photo that was the most important picture. The entryway for this botanical garden. Yeah, it is really strange. I do not see it. Gerbic, I tell you. Oh, see, now here's my cat. He's going to tell me. Yep, Hamilton is telling you. Don't see it has a logo. There's a bunch of pictures from a zoo. Well, that's not it. It's Christchurch. Gripping. This is what it's like. I guess I'll be uploading that again. Let me look over here and find it. You may be watching me upload it. Oh, wow, that's more interesting than I can imagine. I don't see how you can get any more interesting than this. I think I've titled it. Yeah. I'm looking at these one at a time because it's kind of hidden. And you'll see what I mean when I find it. Here. Is this the one I want? Or is it one of these? Doesn't look like it either. Huh. Well, maybe you can help me choose. Let's look at these bigger. Okay, it's not that. There's people standing there. I didn't like that. I could clone them out, I guess. This is a nice photograph, but it doesn't really show the rhododendrons. I think it was this one.
Video? You said you were going to do a... Oh, you're doing it right now. Sorry.
I think it's this one right here. Not this one. Again, I'd have to clone her out of there, and I didn't want to have all this drive in here. I guess I could get closer, but yeah, so let's go back. This one is the one I think I want. Not this one. I mean, that's really pretty, but I don't think that's it. That one. Maybe I should pick this one. What do you guys think? It seems like I had another choice and I don't know where it is. Pacific Bonsai Museum and the Rhododendron Species Foundation. You know, it's really funny because I'm picking the picture that will represent this museum. Let's try this. Let's try this one. Just for fun. Let's try keeping it original. Take the human being out of it. I think it's really pretty, even if there's a little bit of red there. Shows the purple. I think that's a good one. So let's save this as a copy here. And get rid of that. This is it here, right? Let's rename it. Our Foundation. Entry. Let's try that. Okay. There it is. So move this out of the way. Let's go over here to upload file. It's amazing. I didn't find it. I can go back. How exciting you're looking at my computer. It's very exciting. Here we go. Drop it in there. It's my own work. Let's call it this. Entry. Everybody who knows me, who works in this, knows that I hate, with a capital H, Wikimedia Commons. Taking on my third. And the category, this. How about Botanical garden? It's just not intuitive. It's complicated. I mean, I've done this a ton of times. I've probably uploaded a couple hundred photos, but I find it very, very difficult to explain this and so on. So here's the photo I want to put in here for the main picture. So what I did, I went over to the talk page on the actual Wikipedia page that's live, and I left a little note. Here I am. I'm going to rewrite this page, and I left him a note saying that's what I'm going to do, because it's always polite to let people know ahead of time. See, here's the talk page. Here's the article. So I'm going to click on article. I'm not going to explain this in super detail, you guys. So if you're learning how to edit Wikipedia by watching me, it'll go too fast probably. And then what I did is I copied all of this text and I put it over here on my sandbox. This is the S. Gerbic sandbox. And inside the S. Gerbic sandbox is the same page that I just took. But I made all these links down here at the bottom. These are categories. I made them so that they're not functioning. They're category, I took the little semicolon, no, the colon out of them so that they're not live. And that's what we teach people to do whenever you are using, when you're in user space, which is a sandbox's user space. That's the Susan Gerbic space. The other thing I did here, since I have this in my paste, I'm going to go and I let them know that I'm going to be using a style called R. We don't even have a name for it actually, R style, but it's something that we found somebody doing on Wikipedia once, one person, and we went through and learned how to use it ourselves. So I'm just going to put the JPEG for that photo I just took that I want as the main picture. I just put that in there. Okay, so this is the text. Some of this text I used last night for the Tasmanian article. So I want to change the short description to something. This is usually what comes up whenever you are Googling something, or you are like here and you're going to write, oh, Psychic Friends Network. Sometimes it'll give you a little bit of what it is you're looking for. Like, oh, sometimes it'll give you part of it. It'll give you a little bit. And so that's why you want to have a description, a very quick description here. So we're going to call this short description, RHODODENDRON, Botanical Garden. In Federal Way, I didn't know was a place, Washington. Ta-da! I didn't know Federal Way was a city. So, good. I had on here last night, it had use Australian words. I want to find a inbox for a botanical garden, so I got to look for one of those. My cat. All right, so none of this is sourced. None of this has a citation to any of this, and that's really not good. We want to make sure everything has a source. Apparently, it all kind of ties to this one source, which is a history of the Rhododendron Species Foundation. I don't have a book for that. I don't know where are they citing it from? I don't see where it's cited. Yep, I don't see that being used anywhere. So, I mean, I could probably just toss that, just take it out if I wanted to, because obviously I don't have the history of the Rhododendron Species Foundation. What I could do is take it and put it down here under external links, I guess, or see also. Well, shoot, where should I put it? I'll put it there for now. All right, Gerbic. Now, how do I explain this next part to you? Hold on, I gotta let my cat out. Go and be free. Go and be free. All right. So finding citations. Now, the rule in Selena and Susan's world is that if you're trying to write a Wikipedia page for somebody and you're trying to, or something, and you're trying to write it from scratch, then, and if the person is somebody or an organization is something that is famous in the internet world, in the internet age, you know, in the last 10 years or so, then finding citations to prove notability should be something that you find within about 15 minutes of searching. That's my rule. If you can't find enough reliable sources from secondary sources that are notable and independent of the page you're trying to write, then you're not going to find them. So quit looking. Now, if it's somebody who existed back, you know, 100 or 200 or 300 years ago, you're going to probably have to look for print sources, you know, journals, magazines, newspaper clippings, things like that. So that's going to take a lot more effort to find. But in the modern day, we don't want blogs, websites, anything that's dependent, like written from the point of written like press releases or anything like that. Okay, so this Wikipedia page already exists, so I don't have to try to prove its notability, because each Wikipedia has standards for different kinds of pages. So like if you're a baseball player, a sports figure, an astronaut, different things like that, there are certain criteria for you to have a Wikipedia page. It's all different. So a person who may have been on a baseball team or a football team is going to probably be able to get a Wikipedia page with almost no effort whatsoever. But a person who's maybe been a professor or something in our world, the world of science, then it's a lot harder. You have to prove it with a lot more citations. So like if you were a band, the criteria of having a Wikipedia page is a lot different than if you are an artist per se. So the level of becoming a Wikipedia page is different depending on what criteria you're using. So this botanical garden has criteria that I'm not familiar with, but I'm not worried about it so much because the Wikipedia page already exists. Okay, does that make sense? I'm not creating a Wikipedia page from scratch. I am rewriting a Wikipedia page whose notability apparently is already grandfathered in, so I'm not too worried about it. So when you do a Google search for this Rhododendron Species Botanical Garden Foundation Botanical Garden, and you're trying to find citations. Okay, so let's see if we can do this without it being too confusing. I am not looking at sites that are these, like this rhodygarden.org or travel sites. There's a lot of these from travel sites, or here's the Facebook page. I don't want that. I'm going to probably need to go into this down here at this bottom part where you're looking for citations, because this garden was created in the 1960s before the internet. I am looking for news sources, not travel sources. Here's Travel Tacoma. I also found some for like travel advisories to get a hotel room near it, that kind of thing. I don't want any of those sites. I don't want anything like that. So I spent an hour or so, and I went through all of these already. And when I found something that looked interesting, then I put it on a tab. Now I have 3 screens right here, so I was able to just keep them up on a tab open. Now this is what Adrian and I were talking about this morning, is how do you manage this? Like, let's say I'm going to walk away from this project and I'm not going to have my tabs open anymore. Maybe my computer restarts or something like that. And I have all these tabs just sitting here, and it's a real pain. Nothing's bookmarked. So one of the things I've learned to do is I take all of the URLs for everything that I think I'm going to do, and I'm just going to put them someplace. Now keep in mind, I personally, this is my scratch paper. The sandbox is like having a piece of blank paper in front of you. So you can write pretty much whatever you want in here and use it however you want. So I'm going to come over to another screen. I'm going to show you how I have another screen full. There we go. Of tabs. Here we are. These are all these little tabs that I found as I was going along, and they all have different importance. So this one is Rhododendron Garden plans to remain rooted in Federal Way. So that was a little article about that. Federal Mirror. Here's another Federal Mirror. And I found out last night that you can only look at these websites so many times, because then they want you to buy a subscription. So when I was writing about the Tasmanian Zoo, I got to almost to the end, and then they said, sorry, you're out of subscriptions. You're going to have to subscribe now. And I was like, what? I didn't get to read the article. I don't want to subscribe to Tasmanian newspaper. So there's all kinds of different places. There's ways of getting around it, you guys. So here's all these different things I did. So I'm going to move this tab off to the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all these URLs, and I'm going to stick them in the article just so that they're there. I'm going to go through them one at a time. I'm not going to do anything else with them except just put them in here. Okay. Just as a safekeeping. So there's one. I'm not doing anything more with them at the moment. There's another. I will delete them as I go, as I use them. So, and this way, if I get interrupted or my computer goes wee, and it's, you know, doesn't something bad like that, then my Wikipedia page has all the notes on it. So it's like taking notes from a class or something like that of sources you want to look into later. So these are all of them I have. This is from my search this morning. One thing I did is I went to the Rhododendron, the Wikipedia page, not Wikipedia page, the page that the website, and they had a section called news, and it had all these articles on it. So I found like 3 articles from just their website where it says news. See, like this. They have visit, events, about, news and media. See? So I was able to just learn on, click on that, and I got their articles that they had put on there that were news articles. So that's where I found a few of them. That was really nice. All right, so I don't need this anymore. and everything I have is on here. So to make sure that everything is safe and wonderful, I'm going to save this. Oh, before I do that, let me just grab a couple things that I want to do from another Wikipedia page, because that's how I do things. I just find a page that's been done well and then just copy. And let's just take it from the Tasmanian Zoo, because I just did this last night. So I'm clicking on my watch list here and edit. I wish you guys were here with me live and you could go through and find me a botanical museum's info box, so I wouldn't have to search for it. So I'm just going to copy this little section right here. And I'm going to go back to the sandbox. And I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put that in. And to everything that I put in this section, to end it, I need to put this crunchy C and crunchy backwards C. Is that all I need? So what we do with GSoW editors is we do this call, and it calls. Oh God, I'm so bad at explaining this, which is really strange considering I'm the main trainer. What we do is we use in here, like here's what we're writing this thing, and then we put this at the end of, instead of a long citation, and it's crunchy C, capital R, then that bar, and then whatever we want to call the citation, and then backwards crunchy C, backwards crunchy C. See, here's one, here's one, here's one. And you'll see that my computer screen might look a little different than a lot of other editors, because I've got something turned on in my preferences up here that makes things different colors, and it makes it easier for me to see mistakes and things like that. So all of the things where you would normally see a citation at the end of a sentence, we have these call things. So where it comes out to is down here under references. This is where the citation actually is, and we call each citation. So like this one is called CNN 2012. This one's called brochure. This one's called Our Zoo. This one's called Tamarin monkeys. This one's called cheetahs. I named these. I just pick a name that I want to use, and then I use it up here in the body. It's neat. It's very tidy and neat. So now your references are all in one place down here. And the way that the preferences that I have set in here have it so it highlights them. Like you can see all these ref codes are pink. Here's another ref code that's pink. And then the guts of it are yellow. And then here's the URLs are in blue. It's just, it helps that whenever you make a mistake, you can find the answer easier. Okay. So I think I need a info box. Like I said, I'll have to go try to find the info box. That's this right here. And that would give us the box that's up in the upper right-hand corner. Now I'm going to get rid of this because I'm not needing it anymore. Okay, and I don't need this anymore. I like to clean things up as I go. And we're back here. So since this is my scratch paper that I'm doing, I'm going to write in progress. Just where I'm at, okay? So now I've saved my work. I can walk away from this if I want. It's got all those URLs I just threw in here right now. It's not live, so that none of the categories are live. It's only live in my user box, sandbox. All right, so we're there. This stuff up here is trying to keep letting people know that this isn't my Wikipedia. This is not a live Wikipedia page. This is just a draft, and it's my work. Leave it alone. Don't be touching it. And then here's that other JPEG that I put for the picture I want to put in the info box when I get it here. Okay, so You know, I wonder sometimes about my judgment of deciding to do these things live, because I'm not practicing it, obviously. You're just seeing how I'm thinking it through as I go. So we have a history of this garden, and nothing in it, as I've read it through a couple times, nothing in it is wild or odd or anything that that makes me have a red flag. So everything should always be backed up with a citation. But I'm not going to put a ton of time into every bit of this because it's really not that unusual. It's an organization founded in 1964 by members of the American Rhododendron Society. That doesn't seem very odd, right? They moved in 1974 to a new location that is provided by this company, corporate headquarters. And then in 1980, the garden was open to the public on a limited basis. That doesn't seem really all that strange to me. I have gone through newspapers.com. I have newspaper.com subscription. Wikipedia editors who have enough edits, or I guess have been editing for a while, have like a year's worth of edits or something like that. They can get a free subscription to newspapers.com. And that is really handy, let me tell you. But it wasn't very handy in this case because I went through and I looked at the newspapers.com for a lot of different years for this botanical garden, Rhododendron Species Foundation and Botanical Garden. I mean, what kind of name is that? Give me a break. And I looked through newspapers and I found a few articles, but it was more like a person used to work at the Rhododendron Species Foundation and Botanical Garden in Federal Way, and now has moved to some other place in Philadelphia and is working at a botanical garden there. That's kind of the whole gist of what I found on newspapers.com. So it wasn't helpful. I was looking for some kind of newspaper articles, probably local to Federal Way, that were saying that the property had been purchased and they were going to try to open a botanical garden there, or how it moved, or how they opened a conservatory, because they opened up this conservatory. I don't know if it says it right here. Oh, yeah, Rutherford Conservatory. I thought maybe there'd be a newspaper article about that, a press release, and where they called the media and said, we're opening a conservatory named for this person, who I think I found out was some sort of volunteer and not Rutherford, like the Nobel Prize winner from Christchurch, not him. So I couldn't find any newspaper articles. I tried all kinds of different searches. I looked under the first and last name for this Rutherford Conservatory. I couldn't find anything there. Nothing. This botanical garden is mentioned in magazines and journals and things like that for other botanical gardens and rhododendrons, but nothing else. Oh, I did find a whole lot of lecture series that they did. And this is really nice, I guess, if you're into rhododendrons and in the area. They go to conferences and they have conferences and they do talks. So there would be newspaper articles saying, so-and-so guest lecturer from San Francisco is going to be talking about some specific type of rhododendron and in China or something, and come and listen to the talk from 4 to 5 o'clock. Cookies will be served or something like that. I mean, that's nice, but it doesn't help me at all writing this Wikipedia page. That was frustrating. Another thing that was frustrating to me, when I went there, I photographed everything I could find that looked like it might be helpful for me if I decided to someday write a Wikipedia page for it. And I found this Jane S. Rogers Visitor Center. And I took a picture of it. I'm like, all right, Jane S. Rogers. I searched and searched for this. I found nothing. I didn't find anything saying that they had built the Jane S. Rogers Center and, there's groundbreaking, or they broke a bottle of champagne over it or anything like that. Nothing. And I went into ancestry.com, where I have I have a subscription there also for genealogy, but I went and the name is too common. Jane Rogers, Jane S. Rogers is just too common. Here's another plaque I took a picture of. And it's a visitor center dedicated in the memory of this woman. And here's the date it was dedicated. So that doesn't help me at all either. It just tells me that there's a visitor center dedicated. I couldn't find a citation for it or anything. Now, because I have the photograph of this, then I could probably use that as some sort of citation. But I looked on their website. I still couldn't find anything about this woman, Jane S. Rogers. Was she a horticulturist? Was she a botanist? Oh, there's a word I was looking for earlier, botanist. I can't believe I forgot that word. Was she a volunteer? Was she a former director? Was she somebody who donated a large sum of money? I don't know. I really don't. There's a memorial fund and a building fund and the people who contributed to that, but I couldn't find anything. Maybe I'll come across something, but I didn't at this time. And that's the beauty of Wikipedia, is that we're never really done. You know, I might write to the Botanical Museum and say, hey, you know, help me out here. I'm trying to find this person. All right, so enough talk. What I need to do is go through each of these citations, and I may pause while I'm doing this because I like I said, I can't imagine this being very interesting. But I have all these citations down here, and they're all on tabs right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in some kind of order. You're not going to be able to see it right now. I'm doing it off to the side. But one of the articles, I'm trying to find an earliest article that maybe talks about the history of the place. Maybe the oldest article I can find. I found one from 2010. I found one from Virginia Tech for the guy who's the director. I think this is 2007. Here, let me pull it over so you can see. I think it's 2007. What a horrible picture of somebody. See? And it's not really a notable citation. I guess it's Virginia Tech. It's talking about how this guy won a gold medal, and he's mentioned in a lot of articles coming up. And he is a co-director of the Rhododendron Species Foundation Botanical Garden, where he played a determining role in making this garden one of the premier gardens of its kind in the world. So they gave him an award. Again, that's not helping me a lot. I'm trying to find where to start. What is this? Why is my Facebook page come up? All right. Just close that out right now. Don't want that. I don't want that. 2010. 2015. So apparently in 2015, that Steve guy that I was just showing you an article about, and some other people, they travel all over the world looking for rhododendron seeds, exotic things. And they were over in India, Himalayas, and there was a landslide, and they were caught there for 2 days. And they had to get down by going through the government took them through this long trail to get them down, because I guess it was a real big problem. But while they were there, they found a new species of rhododendron. So that's an article I came across. That's kind of cool. Look at this. Okay. That was really nice. That would be helpful. Here's another 2015. 2011, 2004, and 2004. Okay, so this 2004 article, this is for a man named Lawrence. Better get my information off of this. Lawrence Pierce. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to archive that thing right now, so that in case I have where it doesn't let me get in again. because I've used up my subscriptions to the Lewiston Tribute. I could just use the archive. So this is the man who died in 2004. He was 104, and he moved to the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, and he married this woman who had a bunch of family up in the area. He started a rhododendron garden covering nearly 4 acres. So now his son is running that garden in 2004. And it had 1,000 varieties of rhododendrons, and it's drawn gardening enthusiasts from around the world. So it says he was a founding member of the Rhododendron Species Foundation and Botanical Garden in Federal Way. And in 1982 was presented a gold medal for excellence from the Rhododendron Society. And a rhododendron was named for him and for his wife. So what I was curious about, and I can't find any other information about this, is that he was a founding member of the foundation of the garden, but it says that he started a garden with nearly 4 acres. So is he the person who started this thing and then it moved to the location it's in now, because it mentions that it has 1,000 varieties of rhododendrons? The garden now tended by their son, John Pierce, which is not a name that I've seen, because there's probably all kinds of people who were, you know, about, they have different director names, executive directors, co-founders, you know, all kinds of things like that. So I'm going to put this over here to the side for a second. Go back to my sandbox. Okay, it was founded in 1964 by members of the American Rhododendron Society, a comprehensive collection of the rhododendron species. Okay, that makes sense. Outgrowing several other sites, the collection moved to its current location. So, additional areas in the garden include the Victorian stumpery, Himalayan. Now, this shouldn't be part of the history, right? And the executive director and curator. I don't think I need to have that in history. The Rutherford Conservatory. I don't think that should be in history either. So let's do this. Let's break this up into smaller chunks. So I'm going to hit edit. And let's try this. Let's leave this as history, these 2 bits. Let's make a section called exhibits. So we put these little VITS. We put these equal signs, and that makes, I spelled the word wrong. That makes the, did I spell that right? EXHIBITS. Let's look and see. It makes the font bigger or smaller. Everybody edits a little differently. I always make mine complete as I go. EXHIBITS. Okay, that's right. So exhibits, so we'll put the conservatory under the exhibits, and we'll put these things under exhibits. But this is going to go somewhere else. This would be probably, what would we call this? What would we call this, where we talk about the director, curators, those kinds of things? We'll call it something else. I'll think about that in a minute. Another thing I wanted to do is, you keep seeing it identified as RSBG, and I think we should put that up here. RSBG, right here. RSBG. That seems to be what they call themselves. They use that acronym all the time in different articles because it is kind of long. Let's say on 22 acres. I have too many spaces right there. I guess I didn't. All right, so we have a smaller history section. We have an exhibit section, and we have a section where we're going to be able to talk about the people who worked there, past directors or something. But again, I don't know what I'm going to call it. And let's see what we have now. So let's hit show preview. See how it looks. So now we have history, exhibits, and then this mystery section, and then that. All right, now that we're starting, let's go through each of these citations that I have sitting here. So we're starting with Lawrence Pierce, who's a famous gardener who died at 104. Now, according to the article that I'm reading, it's an obituary from the Lewiston Tribune. He was one of the people who founded the place. Now, I have an almost identical article. No. And it's the Washington Post. I'm archiving right now while we're doing this. Now, the Washington Post is going to rank higher than the Lewiston Examiner, or whatever it is. It's a more notable. The Washington Post. Getting in the Washington Post is a big deal. So there's an obituary for him, and it's taking a moment to load. Hold on. It's almost the same article, but it's shorter. The obituary is shorter. It says that he married this woman named Isabel Coleman, whose family had a whole bunch of land up in that area of West Seattle. They started a rhododendron garden. Now it's their son has it. It has more than 1,000 varieties of rhododendrons. He's a founding member of the Rhododendron Species Foundation, and he has a rhododendron named after him. So basically it's half of the article, the other obituary. So I'm going to use both of those. And we should put that under history. Members of the society develop. Okay. How would I put that? We don't know if he was we know that he had some of the land. He started with 4 acres. Should I put it right here in between? Leave this all here. I mean, we can change this around a little bit too. Lawrence Pierce along let's see. Along with his wife, let's see her name. Okay, along with his wife, Isabel Coleman. Started I guess we'd say the rhododendron. Let me see. So this is another thing. We try to spell out the words, the numbers. We try to spell those out in Wikipedia World. With 4 acres, which eventually RSBG. Okay, he was one of the okay, so you see that's from the Washington Post. And from the trying to find the right one. Yeah, these a lot are the Lewiston Tribute. It's a little longer. And talks about his history coming to the area and that his son is now tending the garden. He got the gold medal. He got like I said, it's a little longer. So I'm not seeing a lot more information in here. All right, so here's our first citation. Go up to templates, site web, and I'm going to pull an article from the New York Times first. I mean, the Washington Post. So I don't have an author's name because it's the obituary section. Title is URL. The Washington Post. Website is Access Today. I just clicked on this and it gave me that. I want to call this something. So let's say Pierce WAPO. This is an archive link already, so I'm not going to bother with that. So I'm going to insert that. Now I put it in the wrong place, didn't I? So I'm going to take this, oops. I'm going to take this because this is how normal Wikipedia editor does, is puts it from there. I'm going to go down here to this section, and put it there, and then copy this, copy. This is why I have to do it, like one piece, then the next piece, then one piece, then the next piece. I'm going to type in this, crinkly, crinkly, CC, capital R, bar, what I just put in the save, crinkly, crinkly, backwards C. So that's a call. So I'm calling it. So this code right here is going to call, oops, it's going to call this. Let's look in the preview and see if we did that right. So Lawrence Pierce, along with his wife, Isabel Coleman, started the Rhododendron Garden with 4 acres, which eventually became a part of the RSBG. Pierce was one of the founding members of the garden. Citation 1. And down here is what I wrote. Okay. So I'm going to go back in. So I haven't saved that. That's just a preview. I'm going to put the Lewistown article. This is the obituary from that's a little longer than the Washington Post. And I don't know what I would add. I'm not sure that I even need this citation. It's longer, but it talks about this guy, Lawrence Pierce, but it doesn't give me, you know, I'm not writing the Wikipedia page for Lawrence Pierce. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this citation, the Lewiston Tribute. I'm not going to use it. I'm just not going to use it. And I'm going to take it out of here. Do you see it? Of course, I just took it out. I don't see it. Here it is. I'm not going to use that, so it's gone. All right, but I do want to use this Pierce Obit WAPO again, because under here, this section of people associated with, let's call it, instead of question mark, let's call it people. He's knocking at our front door. Good thing Mark is here. So we want to put one of the somebody's at my front door. Let's see who it is. I don't know, it's not coming. One of the founding members of the society. Lawrence Pierce. Oops. L-I-W-R-E. L-I-W-R-E-N. I keep forgetting the C. P-I-N-R. There's nothing worse than watching somebody type who's misspelling. One of the founding members of the society, comma, Lawrence Pierce. Wife. Started the garden with 4 So I got to write this in my own words. E-N-T-U-A, which eventually grew to over 1,000 rhododendrons. Their son what's the son's name? Of course, it was in the other article that I deleted, huh? All right, whatever. Their son, if I find it, I'll remember. After Pierce death in 2004. I want to say something about the receiving a Pierce. There, I'm going to put, see these 2 little lines? That means I'm about to put a hyperlink. Because there's a Wikipedia page for it. And I completed it by putting that in there. And I misspelled the word received. And I put down what for. It's obvious it's for something. They said in the articles it's for excellence, but what does that mean? Royal I bet this is also another hyperlinguacy. Do you think this should be italicized? It's Pierce. I'm going to italicize it because it's a Latinish word, like it's okay for him. His wife, by Isabella. Isabel. Isabel. Why is, oh, it's not capitalized. And wife, Isabella Coleman. I'm going to put a full name. And the article just called her Isabel Coleman because he married her. I don't want to put just the name Pierce, because if I just put the word Pierce, which is common in Wikipedia, then it'll confuse with Lawrence Pierce. Isabel Pierce. Isabel Coleman Pierce. Like this. Named Rhododendron. Okay, named a rhododendron hybrid, Isabelpiece, after Pierce. Done. Now I want to go and take the citation, the call that I put in history. This one. Copy. Oops, I'm missing a little C. Crinkly C. I'm going to put it down here. Right there. I want it right up to that, but it right up to that comma, the period. Okay, so one of the founding members of the society, Lawrence Pierce, and his wife, Isabel Coleman Pierce, started the garden with 4 acres of land, which eventually grew to over 1,000 varieties of rhododendrons. Their son managed the garden after Pierce's death in 2004. Pierce. See, now I'm calling him Pierce as if he's the main person, but but I gotta named a rhododendron species for him. The Edinburgh Society. I should probably capitalize that. Society. Named a rhododendron hybrid, Isabel Pierce, after Isabel Coleman Pierce. What do you think? I should make this italicized? I don't know. We'll find out later. So now we have a citation there, and let's see what this looks like. Let's preview that. People. Okay, so Royal Botanical Garden is red, so it's not linking to anything. Citation 1. So we should have an A and a B. There it is. That looks beautiful. So now let's see what's going on here with this Royal Botanical Garden. What's wrong with that hyperlink? Don't they have a Wikipedia page? Boy, you're seeing all my secret pages here. Oh, it's called Royal Botanic Garden, Edinburgh. That's what it's called. So let's fix that. Like I said, everybody's different. Some people go in and do all this later. I do it as I go. I just copied and pasted it because I didn't know if it would have something in there that shouldn't be. Okay, so that should have fixed that. Should have gotten rid of that. Nope, it didn't. What did I do wrong? Oh, I'm missing a little closed bracket. What am I doing here? This is supposed to be 2. That should have fixed it. There it is. And it hyperlinks correctly. American Rhododendron Society links correctly. One of the founding members of the society, Lawrence Pierce. Okay, so now I have talked about this Lawrence Pierce, the WAPO article I'm using, the other article I'm not using, and so I'm going to delete it out of my tabs of things to do. Done. I don't see anything else in there that I wanted, and I'm going to take it out of this down here. And that was WAPO. Done. See how I did that? Because I've used them. Let's save. Save as I go in case something happens and things break. All right, so we've got our first citation in here. We've used it twice. It's backing up something in the history area and it's backing up something in the people area. And there it is right there. Beautifully. Okay, let's pick another thing. Let's see what else we should do. Another one that's kind of old. Well, we have this guy, we have this article, remember? He received a gold medal. I guess it's like, what's his face? Or got a gold medal too. Pierce got one. One of the most knowledgeable people in the world on the genius rhododendron. He's also written a book. The American Rhododendron Society is pleased to award you the gold medal in 2007. So let's use this for something. Let me move this over so I can use it. Let's go back and edit. Oops, I'm not editing the garden in Edinburgh. Am I? I don't want that. Oh, wait. There's an info box. See, there's an info box. Minister. What? This doesn't look like for a botanical garden. What's it called? Every info box is a different name. This is info box government agency. Well, I don't think so, because the botanical garden we're writing about is not a government agency. So we'll have to come up with another one. So forget that for the moment. Let's go back to our sandbox. Let's go over here to edit. Let's go to people. See, they've already written this about this guy. And I don't have a citation to prove that, but I mean, I know it's there because I have citations later, but I don't have a citation at this moment. So let's just pass it up for the moment. I might use that in 2007. See, I'm not typing a point to the screen like you can see my hand. See how it's American Rhododendron Society? I'm not making that a hyperlink because I just did it. It's right there. We shouldn't have a whole bunch of hyperlinks to the same page over and over. A gold medal to co-director. Who is he? Steve Hootman. Says he's one of the foremost international plant hunters of the late 20th and early 21st century, and one of the most intrepid. That sounds like an opinion, but he lectures and he's an educator, co-editor of the yearbook, one of the most knowledgeable people in the world. Again, it sounds like opinion, but if it's coming from Virginia Tech, I'm sorry. So, I mean, I guess it's okay, but I'm writing that he was awarded the gold medal to co-director Steve Hootman for his work in conservation and education, calling him. So now I'm attributing it to him, to the Rhododendron Society, not like the opinion of anybody. So according to the American Rhododendron Society, calling him one of the, and I'm going to copy it. Okay. That looks really good. Okay, and also in Wikipedia, we always put the period on the right side of the punctuation. I mean, of the quotes. I know. Oh, and let's do this. And let's see, good way of copying this. And among the most knowledgeable people in the world. Let's make that hyperlink. And let's make this italicized. And let's bump that right up there, take the period out. Okay, so this is coming from Virginia Tech. Here's the title. There's no author. Here's the URL, Virginia Tech. The website is scholar.lib.vt.edu. I'm accessing it today. Let's say gold for Hootman. And I'm going to archive this if I haven't already, which I think I did. Nope, I guess I didn't. And I'm going to put the archive link in here. And it asked me what day did I archive it. I'm going to put the same date as today. Here's where the URL goes for the archive. It's archiving. This is all coming together. Agent 007 or whatever agent is. Archive. There we are. So insert. So again, I did the same thing where I put this is how a normal Wikipedia editor would do it, is they put the link right here underneath the body of the article. And I'm going to remove it because I don't know, old habits are hard to break. Oops, I have a little extra caret in there I need to put in. And I'm going to go down to the archives, put that little caret in first, and then paste it in. And then here's what I'm calling it, gold for Hootman. Go back up here, right next to the butt, crinkly letter, C, capital R, bar, whatever I copied, crinkly letter, and take out this italic, because that's not as long there. So let's see what it looks like. Where are we at? We have our second citation. There we are. Number 2, rhododendron, that links. Hey, number 2, and there we have number 2. Beauty, eh? So that means I can get rid of webarchive.org. This one. Yeah. Done. And I can exit it here. I'm not using that. So these are all the citations I still have left to go. Changes. So we have 2 different people. I think I'm going to acquire some of this. This is going to be deleted, or I'm going to use a few of the words because I'm no good with words and add it to this here somewhere. The exhibits, we've got the Rutherford thing. I still don't have a citation for that. I got to do something with that. And then probably here I will cite this to the website, because I can do that. I can cite it to the website as long as I'm not doing a lot of it to the website. And then we have here the history. So we're coming along. So I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to put this on pause and I will come back to it. So if I can find the link to my Zoom. Oh, it's over here. I'm going to pause. See if that does that. Let's see if it's paused right. Pause it.
Are you done?
No. Oh, just screen share is paused. I don't want to do that. How do I do it? So it's... Good gracious. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Well, let me just try to end it right here because I need to take a break and I can take this up again later. So what I've done is I need to go through all these additional citations right here and add them to the different areas in here, people, exhibits, history. And I need to find citation of some sort for this conservatory and maybe some more of this history up here that's not cited. And Then I also need to come up with an info box for here. And then pretty much I'm done once I do that. So I'm going to end it here and then come back to this later. So I hope you found this interesting. It is a bit tedious, but I find it really fun. As fun as it could be. Oh, and I also got to add all my photos in there. I find it very relaxing that I'm doing something important. Okay, yeah, it's a rhododendron garden in Federal Way, Washington. How is that super important for science? Well, we don't know. We don't know what it will lead to. We don't know if this will help us in some way or how important it is to somebody. I'm sure it's important to Pierce and his family and his wife, and him and his wife's and their family. I'm sure it's important to people who love rhododendrons and botanical gardens. And once the Wikipedia page is written, it should help a little bit with tourism. People might find it a little more interesting. Possibly kids in Federal Way will look up this Wikipedia page and find it and find interesting things about it. I don't know. It just, to me, it needs to be done. And it's hard to pick what you're going to work on. Sure, I could pick on something that is maybe on vaccines or something a little more important at this moment. But at this moment, at this time, I want to work on this page. So that's the way it is. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will finish it up soon and hopefully